Hey, it's Krissie Bee, your friendly neighborhood journalist. Hey, it's Krissie Bee, your friendly neighborhood journalist in Good Morning America. Welcome to another episode of Black News. We got a lot of topics for you today. How you been doing, First Stop Aqua? How was your week?
I have been fabulous.
I have been busy, and the news has been busy too.
Yes, every day.
Shout out to a business that keeps me in business because every day folks is wilding. So let's get right into it. Have you heard about how American Airlines is in trouble right now?
I have not.
Okay, so 3 black men are suing American Airlines after they were removed from a plane because of a bodily odor complaint.
I think I did read about this. And then they have to sit in like the terminal for like 3 hours.
So stay with me here because we're going to keep it at bodily. It was a bodily odor. So I Googled bodily odor because it was a lot of people like, I like to go to Shade Room and everything. I'm looking in the comments. And even our own people was like, well, was the bodily odor weed? What is the definition of a bodily odor?
Weed ain't it?
Exactly. So
bodily odor would be must. Mm-hmm. Did you bathe today?
Yes.
Or yesterday at least.
And in that right, we're going to get back to that in a minute. But so three black men are suing American Airlines because they were removed from a plane because of a bodily odor complaint. Here's where shit gets crazy. 8 of them were removed. None of them were sitting together. None of them knew each other.
That's wild.
So the men boarded at NYC-bound flight in Phoenix on January 5th. An American airline employee asked 8 black men to leave the plane. 3 of them are a part of the lawsuit: Alvin Jackson, Emmanuel Jean Joseph, and Xavier Ville. They did not know each other, like I said. They weren't sitting together. They felt humiliated.
Didn't the complaint come from a flight attendant?
It came from several non-melanated passengers. And then the flight attendant co-signed.
Okay. Carry on.
So her co-sign is what got them kicked off the plane. So they felt singled out and humiliated. They said being grouped and removed hits all kinds of trigger points of things that I didn't think should still be happening to black folks anymore. For real. Like what? He said that made them look like they were criminals. They had to walk out the plane. He hasn't flown since the incident. The statement from American Airlines says it's investigating these issues and this does not reflect our core values or our purpose for caring for people. Yes, the fuck it does. Your employee removed 8 black people from a plane that weren't even by each other because somebody said somebody stunk. This definitely reflects.
So are they going to institute a sniff check when people get on planes now, or
because
how do you bypass this for the next set
I've only been on a plane one time, and I don't remember nobody getting kicked off for smelling like wet dogs. I don't remember nobody getting kicked off that plane for smelling like feet or ass. None of that. Like there wasn't nobody issuing out sniff citations. So I'm confused. Like now,
I mean, there should be a level of understanding that when you're going to get onto something small with limited space with a bunch of people, that you should have some type of deodorant, bath, lotion, perfume, something, But in the event that you don't,
there ain't no sniff test. But even that, like, where on your plane ticket does it say, nah, if you're funky, you can't fly? And I'm not saying that they was funky because this seems like a super racial thing because they weren't close to each other. So if you thought
all of them,
so did you think one of them smelled and you couldn't remember which one it was? So you just kicked off all the black folks off your plane? Because it doesn't make sense why you would be like, And you didn't think that folks was going to sit amongst themselves and be like, nigga, what you get kicked off the plane for? Shit, they said somebody stank. That's what they said to me. And now everybody's over here like, wait a minute.
If there were several complaints, like how could there be several complaints? I know y'all wasn't sitting by all 8 black people. Like,
exactly. They were spread throughout the plane. They were nowhere near each other.
That's crazy.
And so the plaintiffs are seeking damages and compensation determined by, a jury trial. The lawsuit alleges that this ain't their first time being like this. In 2017, the NAACP travel advisory had a warning saying that black people that their safety will be compromised when they fly with American Airlines. So that's what NAACP said back in 2017.
And we didn't take heed to that then. I mean, because you only got to tell me something once, maybe twice if I'm being hard headed that day. But
there was one employee, and baby, I pray that her family is okay, because I know that once all the footage came out, I know that baby lost her job. There was one employee, whenever they were all getting, they finally got to their destination and stuff, and they was like, what was this even about? And she was like, and they was like, it had to be race. And she was like, that's exactly what it was. And they were filming, she didn't know that they had their phones out. But she was like, no, it was. And she was, she wasn't black.
She was being honest.
She was being honest. She was letting them know, like,
they better not fire that lady.
She was letting them know, like, nah, this fucked up. And yeah, that was definitely the reason that y'all got put off the plane. Here's what makes it more humiliating. After they put them off the plane and told them that they was gonna help them get home and stuff, there were no more flights. So after sitting there for 3 hours, they put them right back on the same plane that they took them off of.
Wow.
So did y'all let them air out, or what was that for? Like, and more so,
what changed in their bodily odor?
You feel me?
In 3 hours.
So, when you had them all combined in this area, that this area starts stinking, did anyone complain?
I just wonder if they all sit around like, nah, you smell that? I don't smell that.
Exactly. Like, what do you think the conversation was like in there? Like, to all be in there together, and it's like, damn, we're in here because we stink, and you're just like, but we don't. And you're away from your house. You're like, that's a crazy ass. I could not imagine getting a phone call like that. Like, hey, babe, they'll kick us off the plane because we stink. In my head, do you smell like gas? Did you get on that fucking plane smelling like gas? I'm not thinking you got on that plane smelling like ass, and that's why you had to go. Fix it, American Airlines. Y'all wilding out here. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to a more positive story. How about we do that? How old were you when you started painting?
Ooh, I don't even know. Young? Finger painting, like.
Was you making money off your painting?
Hell no. I don't even know if I was making things that made sense.
Well, the toddler, Ace Liam Nanasam Accra, I've been practicing his name now. He's been painting since he was 6 months old.
Wow.
And he is in the Guinness Book of World Records for the world's youngest male artist. Shout out to black people.
That is wild.
And he just so happens to be from Ghana.
Okay.
When he got inducted into the Guinness Book of World Record, he was 152 days, or 1 year and 152 days old. That's important, because if somebody else comes along and they've been painting since they was 5 months and 3 days, then they take his spot.
Yeah. So
it's very, very important that we know he was 1 year and 152 days old when he received his title, and he was 6 months old when he started painting.
Wow.
Yes. And his story was,
I just want to know, how do you know at like 6 months old your kid wants to paint? Like, how does that happen? How do you know that they have interest in that?
First off, I'm going to say shout out to black people one more time. A win is a win. But I saw baby Ace Liam Nanasam Ancra's paintings, and it looked like
what normally happens. Okay.
But I'm not mad at it, because that's what all them paintings look like in the museum anyway.
Facts.
It really looks like, a 1-year-old was like, but his first painting sold for 7 bands. Oh, so pop your shit, little man.
Okay.
Keep making your money.
They say art is subjective.
Yes. And so his first painting sold for $7,000. He's got a whole exhibit right now.
That is wild.
That is so wild.
What the hell are we doing with art?
And that's what I said. I was like, what am I doing wrong? Because I went to school for art and I ain't sold shit. So shout out Ace, because you done found your lane early in life.
You're going to always make a living. You know exactly what you want to do.
And I hope that family is putting that baby's coins back. But that's not my business.
That's a story for another day.
Another day. Moving right along. So I know you heard about the Florida cop that shot the airman in his own home.
No, I think I might have missed that story.
That's why y'all need to watch Black News. Okay. So, I want to say it was like in February. But a Florida cop fatally shot a black man in his own home. And guess what happened to him, the cop?
Nothing.
Lost his job.
Oh, he did?
That's it. He lost his job. But let's continue.
That's more than anyway.
When you hear this story, we're gonna come back and circle back.
Okay.
Florida deputy who shot black airman Roger Forston in Forston's home last month. Eddie Duran was 39. He was fired when an internal investigation found that he used deadly force when he wasn't supposed to. So his family slammed the cops who shot him in the house because they was like, why? Why is he? That's all he's gonna get. Like nobody. Like if it was your child, would you just want somebody to be like, my bad, I'm sorry? So the details of it were he got a 911 call to a residency that was having some violent shit happening. He knocked on the wrong door.
How does that always seem to be the thing? Y'all can't read addresses?
Mm-hmm. So he knocked on the wrong door. So when he got there, he was already on go thinking some shit had popped off, but he is at the wrong house. Randy is an airman. Roger is an airman. I should not call him Randy. Roger is an airman. He's got that thing on him already. He's in his house. So as soon as the cops saw him, didn't say anything. As soon as he opened the door to kind of just be like, who the fuck is knocking on my door? All he did was open the door. The cop shot him 6 times.
I wish I could see how wide my mouth is open back here.
Mm-hmm. He said once Duran saw that Forston had the gun, he proceeded to shoot him 6 times. Forston didn't resist him in any way. He didn't point the gun in his direction. He wasn't facing any charges at the time of fire. He was nothing. He was an airman. He was a field airman at Herbert. Yeah. And he got fired.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that's more than what a lot of people have gotten wrongfully shooting people in their own homes.
Right.
But that's it? That's all that man's life is worth?
He was 26.
Wow.
No, 23.
Wow.
Mistaken identity cost him his life because somebody else was acting crazy in their house.
That is crazy.
That is very, very crazy. It's even more fucked up that all he got was that slap on the wrist and he lost his job, meaning he could go somewhere else and be a cop again.
It ain't like it's going to be, y'all didn't put it on his record.
It's going to be disorderly conduct. We already know how that goes. Disorderly conduct, sealed, so can't nobody ask questions about it. And he's still going to get to be a cop again. Child. You know, we're going to move on. So, could you imagine finding your dream condo, getting an offer on it, getting approved to get it, going down there with your money to pay your deposit finally in person, and then getting a phone call when you get back home saying, sorry, she backed out of the deal because you're black? Yep. Dr. Raven Baxter, a molecular biologist and science communicator, 30 years old. Shout out to black people.
First of all, question. Wasn't Raven's name in That's So Raven Baxter?
It was.
Okay.
It was. Okay. That's So Raven. We will refer to her as That's So Raven from now on. Mm-hmm. So her house had a view of the Atlantic Ocean. It had marble fireplaces. It had a private foyer, 3 bedroom, 3 bath.
Oh, it was nice.
749 bow wow. Like, she had it. She was ready. Had her money and everything. And then when she finally went to purchase it and give them the deposit, they took the deposit. And when she got back home, they called her by 11:30 at night and they let her know that the seller had backed out because she just realized just now that she was black.
Well, I hope they realized to give her deposit back.
Of course, but
that's crazy. Why should that even matter? Money is green.
Mm-hmm. So Jane Walker is 89, and that's why it matters.
Yep, that sounds about right.
And she didn't want to comment on none of this, she said.
Of course she didn't, because, that's what they do. Mm-hmm. You got a lot to say until somebody asks you about it, and then all of a sudden you hush.
So shout out to social media, because Dr. That's So Raven, she didn't know what to do. She has a website that she runs. It's called Dr. Raven, the Science Maven. Okay. And she told her 160,000 followers about the incident. And immediately, they all became CSI to tell her what to do next. They started sending her documents. They started sending her a way to fight this shit.
Yeah, as you should.
So, she's reaching out to, so now, she's keeping in contact with everybody, and she's like going live and letting everybody know, like, yeah, we have to fight this. And so everybody is giving her the information, which I think is dope. And so in the end, she does end up getting She does end up getting the house back.
She should.
She's going to end up moving in. If everything goes correct, she'll get to move in by July. She ends her social media post by saying, "Baby, either I'm buying your house or I'm buying your block. Choose one." And I would have bought the block, baby.
Okay, just because.
I would have bought the block because why are you playing with us still in 2024?
Okay, because why does it even matter what color my skin is if I'm paying you at this point?
So here's what's crazy, some crazy stats, because I went down a rabbit hole because for her to be so comfortable to even tell her, this is why I ain't giving you the house. Girl, you black. For her to be comfortable, she wasn't first one. So this is what I found out. Okay, so it's definitely illegal for real estate agents to discriminate against color or anything, disability, whatever. You can't discriminate against nothing but the money. That's all that it's supposed to matter. And background checks and shit like that. But no, I can't not give you your house because you're black. But 87% of real estate agents have participated in racial steering. Racial steering is, this is a white neighborhood, so if you come in with your black money, you're going to mess up the aesthetics of it, so we're not even going to take you as a client. And you would never know it because you're just not going to get, for some reason, you're just not going to get a call back for that house.
Which is, I can understand that, even though that's wrong. At the very beginning, if you just don't receive no call, you don't. But if you take me all the way down this rabbit hole and I spend my money, oh, baby.
Well, now, since COVID, a lot of the stuff has, and that's exactly what happened with her. Like, 94% of it's still virtual. You don't get to walk in these folks' houses. Like, they're not, COVID showed people, we really don't need you all up in our shit if you're not going to buy it.
Exactly.
We can just do a virtual tour.
Exactly.
So everything is virtual tours now. And so it's like, people are getting all the way to the final stage. And then it's like, bring your deposit in. And then when Hector or Tyrone bring the deposit in, then it's like, we didn't know because your name was Michael. We assume. Because think about it, her name is Raven Baxter. It doesn't really.
And that's really terrible. Like, you literally can't go off of names anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, anybody could be named anything at this point.
So agents have also been documented to refuse to work with black buyers, show black and Latino buyers fewer homes than white buyers. And so they did like a private investigation having, you put the bait people in and they're like, I think I'm just going to buy a house. And you send all three races in the same day and then only the white person gets the house. They've done a lot of studies like that. 87% of people that work in the real estate agency have been busted for that. So I guess in that area, I'm not going to say all over, but in that area. She filed a claim of discrimination with the Virginia Fair Housing Office with the Department of Housing and Urban Development. She reached out to her civil rights attorney, and her social media followers stepped behind her. So good luck with that. I would have bought the whole block though.
Okay.
I would have owned her house.
Just for that, I own your house, your neighbor's house,
your
neighbor's house too.
Your wigs. I get it all. All of it. I want all of it. My water drinkers, my Fiji water drinkers, my bougie Fiji water drinkers. The FDA done took away 1.9 million bottles. It's a recall. Y'all got bacteria in your water. Yeah, but here's the crazy shit. It's describing how the water is contaminated with bacteria and manganese, which is another form of bacteria. Any bottles that have the dates November the 13th, 2023, November 24th, and November 25th, 2023 on it. So nationwide, despite the recall, which means motherfuckers are still selling the bottles even though there's a recall, you might face some health consequences. But it's not deadly, so don't worry about it. It's just got a little bacteria in it, according to the FDA. That's crazy. It tells you all this about bacteria and how it's in the water, and then it's like, but it's not going to kill you, though. Don't worry about it.
But you still recalling it, so it's going to do something.
You recall
even if it's going to give me the runs, I need to know. Imagine drinking some Fiji water on your way into a business meeting, and your stomach get to bubbling in the middle of the meeting. Like,
from now on, when folks is like, I drink Fiji water.
I'm convinced you got shitty breath.
You're a shitty buddy motherfucker, huh? Okay. Shout out to black people again. Chef Tobias Dorzan. He used to be a football player in the NFL, I believe. He got named Chef of the Year.
Okay.
Right. Get you somebody that can do both. He's got his own restaurant. It's called Hyattsville Huncho House. He's the executive chef and the owner of of the restaurant. The Restaurant Association of Maryland honored his culinary contributions. He's about to open his second restaurant. He's the host of Time Outs with Tobias on ESPN and Hulu. If you had a restaurant, what would you cook? What would you sell?
I make a lot of good things. So I think every day of the week would be like a different kind of food. I would be one of them people, forever changing. Like, I don't know. That's how my taste buds are.
My restaurant would definitely probably be pothead cuisines.
Oh, most definitely. I think I would do like late night pothead cuisines, but like during regular business hours, we're going to keep it cute. And,
Yeah, I'm thinking pothead cuisine. I'm going to wait until it's legal in Texas, and I'm going to open it up. Speaking of Texas.
There's always a deep sigh when you see Texas.
Texas education leaders reveal a new elementary curriculum to incorporate biblical teachings. The proposed curriculum includes thousands of pages of educational matters that are due to be a part of the lesson plan by August 2025.
Didn't we talk about this in episode 1?
We did. The concern, we got some more. Now it's approved. It's being pushed through.
That's crazy.
So fuck separation of church and state.
But basically, and fuck all the other religions that go to
and that was what I was going to next. But here's how they're trying to justify it. The concern is that the curriculum will only focus on that of Christian teachings when we are very well aware that there are far more religion practices besides that. But this is what the CEO is saying. It's designed to improve students' reading and math skills and scores. And we're going to include the other religions throughout the curriculum too.
Liars. They're all liars.
First off, what do the 12 disciples got to do with reading and math?
Are they teaching algebra?
I mean, Jesus had 5 fish and 5 loaves and he fed 5,000. That don't make no sense. But what does that got to do? Why do we need to tie religion in to teach math?
Why don't we just teach math?
Or reading.
Or
like, I'm just not understanding why you guys was like, yep, sounds right. Let's just go ahead and pass that. That's y'all's whole backing of this, is we need that to teach math and reading? Anyway. It's already been passed, so if you are an educator, expect to have to incorporate Christianity into your curriculum, regardless what you believe. We gonna keep it in the vein of education because y'all been wilding. But this is not Texas, this is Massachusetts. So have you heard about this? The Massachusetts teacher that she's placed on leave after holding a mock slave auction.
I read something about that.
And saying
in what world is that okay?
And saying racial slurs out loud in her class. So let me set the stage for you. This hoe, they're not even saying her name, and I don't feel like she should be the one fucking protected because she didn't protect kids. She had kids stand up in front of her class. She had 3 little black kids stand in front of her class, and she did, like a mock slave auction. She had the kids standing up and trying to figure out which kids had the better attributes, like who was the strongest, who had the better bone structure. Girl, you was invested in, this is not a history lesson. This is some kind of weird sicko.
And I think I read something about how the parents didn't even find out until one of the kids said something.
One of the kids, and the only reason she said something at home was because she asked her mom if her mom could reread her one of the books that the teacher had taught during that week. And in the book, the teacher kept dropping the N-bomb. And so the doctor was like, we got this book. Mama, does this book got the N-word anywhere in it? And she was like, no. And she was like, the whole time the teacher's reading it, she is, and your ends, and your ends, and your ends, and your ends, and she keeps stopping when the kids are like, oh, it's in the literature. It's in the literature. Yep. How you feel about that? I don't got a lot of words. I don't like when people play with kids. I don't like when people...
Yeah. What was the purpose?
Why would you think that was okay?
Why would you think that was okay to do with a bunch of kids?
And it leads back to what I was saying. Did you not think that somebody was going to go home and say something about this? So yeah, all that happened.
I want to know what curriculum that was in. What lesson plan did the school district give her to say, yeah, this is it. This is what you're gonna teach.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, she got put on administrative leave.
No, she should have lost her job.
She should have lost her life, because I wish you would put my child in front of your fucking class and act like he was fucking Django. Like, bitch, we can run it. Like,
yeah.
And that's probably why they're not revealing her identity, because I would have told y'all her name to Google in the school she worked at and all of that. But they
I'm
didn't
sure
put it
if we go down a rabbit hole, it's really not that hard.
You know, I'm pretty sure that they got the name of the parents that was pissed off about it, because they was filing complaints and stuff. So I'm pretty sure if you got on the parents' Facebooks and did your homework and research Massachusetts Klan, y'all can find out who she was. Let's talk about Kiara Lee. I'm not laughing at the situation. I'm laughing at all the thumbnails of her that came about in the situation. The crossing guard in Darby, Delaware, that was arrested for giving them kids e-cigarettes and weed and edibles at school. She was taken into custody on Tuesday night. Some of the kids at Penwood Middle School said she was smoking with them. You know what? Fire everybody. Fire. Just bring in new teachers. What is going on with all these? What is?
First of all, she looked like one of the kids herself.
Baby, she looked like.
How did you get the job? You
looked like she was 7, 77, and 27 all at the same time. Like,
you're right. It depends on the angle.
And she looked like she had a juice box with them, because the picture that they took, she had her makeup or something smeared. She looked like she's.
In what world is that okay? You down bad that you dealing the kids?
And I just don't understand, like, who walks up to a kid like, you want to buy some green? Girl, ma'am, yes, ma'am. This is really, really crazy. Moving right along. We only got a couple more stories to cover. We're going to talk about what has happened in Louisiana. Louisiana has been one of the first states to approve surgical castration for sex crimes against children.
I read that.
I have been saying that you don't get a second time. If you touch a child one time, there should never be a second chance, because 97% of offenders are repeat offenders. Which means that they've touched multiple kids, or they've been caught multiple times, not caught every time.
Most of the time it's swept under the rug by the family anyway, but I digress.
Yes, and they need to be surgically castrated too. If you don't protect a child, you need to have the same consequences of the person that you let hurt a child.
And this is directed, I wish I would turn the camera around, but we ain't gonna do that. This is definitely directed to the black community.
That whole not saying
you know what I'm saying? I don't give a damn if Uncle Al is the favorite uncle in the family. If you know that he ain't right, why are you not protecting these kids? Why are y'all not protecting these kids?
You know? And so Louisiana has had to step in because of this. So in addition to your sentencing, meaning you will still go to jail, you will still have to do all of that stuff, but now you have been surgically castrated. Your pee-pee don't work. It don't. Females too. It go both ways. There is nobody's exempt. So all sex offenders will also be sentenced to mandatory surgical castration for serious sex crimes. What the state of Louisiana considers to be a serious sex crime,
I was just about to ask,
is rape, incest, molestation, and any sexual act committed on a child that is under the age of 13. Now, that does not mean you're not going to get in trouble if you mess with a minor. What that means is, but for these babies though, first time, your dick don't work no more. They are castrating y'all. So and as they should everywhere. Like, leave these kids alone, bro. Like, that shit is so. It shouldn't. I don't think it should even had to be, like, you know what I mean? I don't think it should have even had to be. It shouldn't even have to gotten here. But a lot of our laws shouldn't have had to got here. But people are fucked in the head. I wish I had more shout out to Black People News this week, but we don't, because the world is crazy. So y'all tune in next week and we'll do more stories. So this is Krissie Bee. Have a good night.